Welcome to episode 16, and we are talking about niching today. So, niching a whole new way, and I would love to share some insights with you. In particular, what's been going on for me is I have been rebranding and niching myself. So, I think this is a perfect topic for this session for the business insights because I think it's something that everybody struggles with. And even though you might think that you have nailed your niche, you might then be having doubts about it. So it's something that's constantly in the background. And over time, of course, things may change in your business if you've been running your business for some time. You might be going back and reevaluating if that is actually the audience that you're trying to speak to, i.e., niching yourself. So I'm super, super excited to say that I have finally made my big steps forward in rebranding and sort of niching into the area that I want to focus on for the next so long, as long as it feels good to me. And I'd love to tell you what I'm niching into and give you some insights into how I've actually come up with this and, my journey to actually get here, because I think everybody is constantly doubting and thinking about this at the back of their mind. So I'm hoping me sharing my story will be helpful to you as well. So I am now niching into the world of mums in business, and in particular, mums who are struggling to really give that focus to their business because they are working 24/7. They are literally on call with their family, and their family needs them, and they've always had them as that kind of priority. So they really struggle to put their business, make their business a priority, and to really push that dream that they have for their business forward into taking those steps, because it's one thing trying to grow your business when you have tons of support around you, and it's completely different when you don't have that. So I just feel this is an area that I can really help with, and I think it's taken me time to get here, but I'm so thrilled because it really feels good. And I think that's my first point, is your niche has to feel good to you. Like, there's no point you saying your niche is X when you don't really feel that passionate about it. There's nothing that really is lighting you up there. So um that's the first thing, really thinking about, whatever you come up with, it's got to feel good. So maybe creating that almost as an imaginary checklist in your head that, it's got to feel good as one of those things. And then secondly, using your experience and thinking about who you've helped so far, the kind of people who've come into your world, of what people say, whether that's friends, it doesn't matter who they are. And if they're paying clients, then that's even better, because then they have exchanged money for your services, which means they've already bought into what you do, which means their opinions will be very helpful. Number two is thinking about that experience and really trying to, um, explore it in a way that you can refine it, really, because you may already have something, and it's about trying to figure out what the similarities are with the people that you've had most joy with. This can sometimes be a difficult thing to do. So that's where I think number three comes in, is, using your experience and what you are a perfect match for, because we can't help everybody in the same way. It's just not possible. So there will be people who you will be incredibly passionate about helping, and they will be incredibly happy to have you in their life as well, because they value what you do. So it's kind of marrying those up. And I think this is the really difficult bit, because sometimes we just can't see um, what's going on because we're inside our business. So we can't make that connection with what we know and who we can help. And I certainly think that that's where getting the right kind of support can be helpful, because sometimes people looking at your business from the outside will see something very different, and they will know you or think of your niche in a different way. I mean, you could take this as an experiment and ask your friend and ask them, "Oh, what do you think I do? You tell me what I do in your words," and take from that it's what is it that they say to you? What words do they use? And what do they think they know? And then you may have told them a million times what you do, but what did they remember and what did they think that you did? So people already have an idea of what your niche is, whether you've explicitly said this or not. So trying to be more proactive by being open and honest and actually saying this is who I help, you're marrying that up. So if somebody thought you did something and you actually didn't, or it was a slightly different thing, and they have the opportunity, because you're sharing this out with the world, people will know that, well, actually that's what you do. So maybe it's women's health, maybe it's very specific areas, and you can sort of redefine that. You get to redefine it, so it becomes like something you can control. And I think going back to, it needs to feel good. It needs to kind of marry up what your skills are and who you're helping and really connect, because then you can give them, those clients, the biggest transformation. And this is so, so helpful, because in business, you want to be enjoying every single client. You want to have the right people in your world. You want to grow an audience who actually know what you do as well. And I guess this goes back to the beginning again, that, when we're starting to build audience, niching is really helpful then, because we're calling out on those people. We are trying to resonate with those people. And those people are the ones that we want in there from the beginning. We just don't want any old subscribers. We don't want any old people in our audience. We want the right kind of people. So if we can ensure that they come in at the beginning, and even though it may take them time to feel nurtured and feel that we are able to help them and trust us enough, that's a whole journey. Imagine how many people are in your world just now who just have absolutely no intention of being your customer ever, because either they're just not the right fit, B, they might have come in, signed up to your freebie, your lead magnet, for different reasons, and those reasons are not very clear to you. But it doesn't, but it means they weren't the right fit for who you're looking for in your sort of offers and your services. And this then goes back to, when you know your niche really well, then you can lead the right people into your world. So when you create your lead magnet and freebie, when you create your content, it can be around those people. So it's actually speaking to them rather than speaking to nobody, is really digging deep. And I think there's that fear as well, that once we niche, we are not able to help anybody else. So if somebody saw, for example, that I help mums in business do all of this, and what if I'm putting people off who are not a mum? What if there's a woman who does not have any children, but she still has the same problems and the same issues? Perhaps she's got elderly parents. Maybe she's caring for family, and she may not have family of her own, but her actual pain points are very similar. And what if my message just landed with her and she just liked the way that I spoke, the way I gave information, the way I shared things? Would she just say, well, I'm not going to speak to her because she says she talks to mums? Or would you just reach out? I think I think the latter is true, because with your niche, people can connect to your message. They might not see, they will never, ever actually see every single thing that you put out there. They may never visit your website. They may never have consumed all the content you've put out there. So when they see that one piece of content that you put out, which is based around your niche, but it could be the problem that other people are having too, but because you're speaking so specifically to that pain point, it draws them in because they feel that connection with you. And that is priceless, because that's the connection we want to build. And they may not even look at what your niche is, but because of what you said, because your message, because of your perspective, because of your point of view, they get in touch. And that's what we want to do more of. So I hope this episode's been helpful. Um, I think there's a lot we could talk about in niching, but I think this is a great place to start, is just thinking about that checklist, that, is it feel good? Coming back to that, and thinking then about you know, what your experience and that but connection piece between what you do and what they need help with, and how you can connect that together and refining that. And then thirdly comes really to be able to use that information to create your lead magnet, to create your content. So to create the information out there that you're going to put out there to get yourself visible. Because when you are in that world of that person you've created, that niche and that area, that is where the connection piece will happen with people, and not necessarily someone who resonates with every single word you wrote, but it could be enough, just enough for them to feel that there is a connection. Um, yeah, so um, I think that's kind of my view at the moment. I could probably do another episode on this later um on another kind of perspective of niching as well, and how to go further. But I hope for now that just lets you see, and maybe it's a good time to review, sort of recheck, and just look at what your niche is, and who is it that you're trying to speak to, and just make sure it's really clear to you who it is. And I guess that the last thing that I'd love to leave you with is, don't think of it as being a person whose age is X, and they have a dog and a cat, and they have one child, and they live in this area. That's not what niching is. And niching should be about the characteristics of that person that connect you together. So, it could be that they're a mum, it could be they're a woman of a midlife, for example. It could be a certain stage they are at in their life. And I think stage and the problems around that stage is actually a niche. And I think that really brings a lot more clarity to what I've been doing recently as well. And I hope it does for you. So don't just think of niche in the way of it just being a person and this figure and avatar you're creating, because it really isn't. It's so much more than that. It's, what kind of stage of life they're at, what kind of problems they're having, what if it's a business owner you're speaking to, then what stage of business they're at. It might be the kind of problems that are coming up for them that will help you to tap further into what that niche is. And it doesn't have to narrow down by um, geography, or by a demographic that you don't want to narrow down by, because you get to choose. So if you want to help people all over the UK, you can say you help people all over the UK. If you want to only be a local business owner, then you get to say that. So that really is the last thing. And I think that's an extra wee bonus, because I think this can really, really just change how you think about creating that person, that dream client that you're wanting to walk through your imaginary doors, if you like. That's the picture you're trying to paint, and using all of this information then in a really helpful way in your marketing, so that your marketing then becomes easier and more efficient and just much lighter. Because it's a tough job putting yourself out there. So yeah, I hope this episode's been helpful. Do drop me a message, send me an email, hit reply, and do let me know how you like this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, then do drop me a comment below. And thank you for listening. Until next time.